Welcome to the Power of Connection. I am Bob Umar, five-time TEDx speaker, and this is where we make influence human again. One idea, one conversation, one thing you can use. Let's get into it.
Hey everybody, welcome to my live stream, my daily live stream today. My name is Bob Umar. It's the Power of Connection broadcast. And today it's actually a little bit later today because, again, I had grandma came in last night and the kids were busy and it was kind of chaos in the house this morning. So they're now gone, and so I'm not doing the broadcast now. Normally I broadcast 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday to Friday, but it's been a little bit hectic this week with the broadcast. So I apologize for that, but I'm here now. So happy to chat. And the topic today is why your story matters, helping you craft your personal video story. And it's kind of two parts here. One, I want to talk about why your story matters. And then as a segue to that, it's actually the reason I'm doing this post is to actually give you an opportunity to actually help you craft your own personal video story, because I think it's going to be helpful from a video perspective to create content for yourself and actually showcase who you are. So that's really what it's all about. If you're just joining in, by all means, let us know where you're from. Comment below. Are you from Africa, Europe, Asia, North America, South America? Are you on the West Coast, East Coast? Let me know where you're from. Tell me below. And hopefully you'll join in and we can share more about, what you're up to and where you're from, because, this is kind of why I do what I do in terms of, and I'm looking down because I'm at my phone here. I'm trying to get access to the live feed so we can start chatting more about today's topic. I think it's a very important topic. I mean, every single one of you has a story. And so the question is about, how do we help that story manifest itself? And I think that's important for us to think about. So that's really what I'm doing here. And there we go. There's my phone. And again, so for me, I want to get some comments going here. I'd love to get some engagement. I'd love to get some feedback. And if you're liking what you're hearing, by all means, let me know where you're from. Let me know if you're if you have any specific question about storytelling or why your story matters. Comment below. If you like what you're hearing, comment, heart, light bulb, all that kind of stuff. Tag people, join the conversation. Share it on your own post. Tag people. Let's get as many people as part of the conversation as we possibly can. So let's get right into it. And Dan's like, your topic is so essential. Yes. Okay. So if somebody's actually been to my main website called Raylan, on that site, there's a video where I talk about my story. And I say that every single person has a story, a purpose, and a legacy. And the truth is, every single one of you has a story. The story of your life, what you've been through, the ups and downs, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Everything that you've been through, everything that you've learned, everything that you've processed is part of your story and part of your journey. Thank you, and thank you, Sahib. I love the topic, brother. Good. I'm glad you like it. So, it's important for us to first understand that everyone has a story. You may think, well, my story is boring or my life is boring. Not true. That is your own mindset telling you that. You actually have way more than you realize. You have stuff from your birth and when you're born and growing up. You have stuff. You have every lesson learned from your successes, every lesson learned from your failures. You have every lesson learned from people you've worked with, or people who've been mentors to you. In fact, all of us have thousands and thousands of stories that merge into the one main story of you. And you may have many stories, right? I mean, you may have many stories that merge into one, but ultimately they're all part of that one story, that one legacy that's you. And I want to first get through that mindset that you are part of that one story. Get that in your head. You are one story. And every single branding piece and product out there, they all have stories too. We all have stories. And stories matter. Why do stories matter? Because stories are the earliest ways in which humans would connect each other and share their beliefs and their values, their cultures, and their feelings. It's how they would actually teach people. Looks like a lot of people are joining here. So Dan's saying, products and service are shades of gray. Your story is completely unique. That's right. Your story is your uniqueness. It defines you and helps your community connect and relates to pop away. Love from Tunisia, interesting topic. Thanks. Welcome from Tunisia. Is such a thing as being too transparent? Great question. I will get to it later because I want to keep going through the content, Dan. But that's a fantastic question. And if you have a question about storytelling or your story or crafting your video story, let me know, comment below, and let's start engaging. So I was talking about the importance of story. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm launching a 7-day speaker confidence program, of course. It's a challenge. And the link's in the post. But the basic gist here is you'll get an email and a short video as well as worksheets and homework every day for 7 days to help you work on your confidence as a speaker, whether you're trying to speak one-on-one or one-on-many or doing videos. But what's also embedded within the program is actually the ultimate goal is I want you to create your own video story, a personal story of you, 2 to 5 minutes long, and I'm going to give you the confidence and tools to help you get there. And that's really what it's about. If you like that, by all means, love, tap, heart, like, that's great. But that's the objective. I want to encourage you to get to that point. And so for me to get you to get to that point, I want to explain to you why your story matters. So we're talking about your story. My story, has different aspects of, my life. So, I have my health story, right, which is about being being an overeater, diabetic, struggling with my weight, trying different things that worked and that didn't work, trying to create something sustainable with my weight. I can tell you right now, I'm still doing keto. I'm still doing keto as part of my journey, and I've been losing weight. It's been great. So that's part of my story. The other story I have is my story of my life in terms of growing up with my family and the culture and that I grew up with it. There's a story of my career in terms of having 4 different careers and going from corporate to MBA, back to corporate, then trying different things and finally deciding to become an entrepreneur. That's part of my story. There's also my story in terms of the struggle of my business, the ups and downs of what's been going on and how I've been evolving my business, evolving my why statement, evolving my mission. And these are all part of my story. I mean, the general story that I share with people is that, for many years I felt lost in my job, stuck in my career, unfulfilled with my work and my life and the people in my life, including my health and my weight. And so now my message to the world is that it's okay to feel that way. It's not okay to do nothing about it. So that's why I'm here posting here on this daily live stream. That's why I'm sharing content. That's why I do keynotes and coaching, all the stuff that I'm doing, because I want to help the world, right? And that's my story. My legacy is going to be to help as many hearts as I can find fulfillment, find meaning, find passion, find difference, find something that took their life to a greater level than it was before. And it doesn't matter whether it's a corporate thing or an entrepreneur thing or a personal thing. As long as I can help people, that's really what I do. And I share the good and the bad. I share the vulnerable too, because every time I share a vulnerable story, there's going to be people who like that, but then I get dozens of messages from people, private messages, say that resonated with me. So even the small stories matter. But your story matters because it is uniquely you. It is a chance for you to share who you are, encapsulate a big part of you and your personal brand in a short 2 to 5 minute video, or to do it, you can do a longer one too if you want. But I think it's good to have different levels. You can have the 30-minute video, you can have the 10-minute video, you can have the 3-minute video. And your story is going to empower you to take more ownership of your life. Your story is going to inspire others to take ownership of their lives. Your story is going to demonstrate your values, your brand, your thought leadership, all the things you care about. Your story is something that people are going to be able to leverage for, and hopefully build their own stories. I share my story in the hopes that you will share your story. So this is why your story matters. And if you all have thoughts about why your story matters, comment below. Let me know what you think, because I want to hear what your take is on this. And now the second piece in terms of how to craft a personal story video. Well, again, one of the things I want to do is help you craft your own personal story video. And what this really means is to go through the key aspects of a story, right? You tell the situation of the story, give some context, right? Then you tell people what is the conflict or the problem or the challenge that you're trying to overcome. Then you talk about the steps you took to kind of go through that, evolve through the process, and how you overcame it. And then at the end of the story, there's got to be some sort of, resolution as well as lessons learned. What is the lesson you learned? What's the, if you could, the best way to start your story of your life is say, if you look at your entire life, what is the biggest thing you want people to remember about your story? And number 2, what is the biggest lesson you want people to remember from your story? And if you look at those 2 things, you should be able to come up with a key outline or structure for your story, right? And you got to be honest. You got to be genuine, authentic, and transparent, because it's way better to create a story that's authentically you than to create a story that's programmed or designed for something else. It's manufactured. You don't want to manufacture a story. You want to and who better tell the story of you than you? Now, you may need some help with the structure and the setup. You may need to do a couple of takes. You may need my guidance or someone else's guidance or my 7-day speaker confidence program to help you guide you along the way to do it. But it is a fantastic exercise for you to understand your values, to understand not just your values, but your value, to understand your brand, to understand who you serve, to understand your why, to understand all these things. And that's why I want to make sure we help people, focus on this. So if anyone else has tips on why your story matters and how to craft your personal story videos, put them below. And you can also encourage people to check out my 7-day program. It starts August 25th. I hope people will check it out. And so, yeah, hopefully I've given you a lot of information to think about that. Now let's get into some questions. And if you have any other questions or things you want to share or want to tag people about, your story and how to craft a story, let me know. But let me get to some questions. So there's a question way above here. Actually, people are sharing a lot of stuff here. So, oh boy. David says, "Hey Bobby, hey David, hey Tommy. Of course, absolutely, story matters. Hi Bobby from Rachel. Hey Bobby, where I'm from? Yeah, you're from just southwest of Houston, Texas, Kenneth. Hey Bobby, Kendrick, Rachel's here. Thanks for sharing your story. David, great endeavor. Definitely appreciate it. Good. It takes courage to share. Thank you, friend. Thanks, Rachel. You really do find your own voice when you share your story. Agreed. Okay, here's a question from Dan, Millennial Motivator Willis. Is there such thing as being too transparent? Great question. No, but yes for some. So no, there's no such thing as being too transparent. The truth is, if you want to be as completely transparent as you want to be, you have to take responsibility for that transparency in terms of what it entails and what it means, any sort of consequences that come from that transparency. So if you want to rant about your life, if you want to rant about things that other people may not care about or may feel is too transparent, well, what you're doing is you're basically curating an audience for just your stuff, right? So, if you want to talk about your personal life and really go overshare, quote unquote overshare, that's okay. That's on you, but be responsible for that, because one responsibility is that talking about people that maybe don't want to be talked about, like let's say you want to be overly transparent about how your marriage is failing, or how your kids suck, or how your boss is a jerk. You're putting those people in a situation that has consequences. So, I'm not saying that it's bad, but there are consequences for that. There are people who share their very specific details about their health journey, and they get into the blood and guts of the situation. There's other people who talk about politics in a very raw way on platforms like LinkedIn, where you're like, okay, do I talk about this here or not? I don't know. Maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. But the truth is, whatever you talk about, no matter how transparent you are, you're going to attract a following of people who care for that message and others who don't. So for those who think, oh, it's too transparent, they won't be part of your message or your followership. For those who think, oh, well, this is really resonates with me, it's very raw, authentic, I like it, I will stick with it. So the reason I say that there's also a no to, is there a way to be too transparent? Yes, for every single individual you, there's something that's too transparent for you, right? So one example is, there was a friend, and we debated on this. He was like, well, he said that people should talk more about their marriages and be authentic about how the good and the bad. And I said, that's fine. But if your partner doesn't want you to talk about your marriage and all the crap you're going through, then you should respect that. And he disagreed. He's like, no, you should share it. And I'm like, well, I disagree. I think that it puts that partner under a burden of responsibility that they don't want. And I don't think that you should be doing that. And for me, like, again, that's where the responsibility comes in. But for me, I think that someone sharing that stuff, for me, is too transparent. But again, to each their own, right? You do it as long as you take responsibility. The worst part is those who are transparent or authentic or raw, or just, I'm just being totally honest here, and they won't take responsibility for their words and their actions and what it entails. And that's where it becomes a bit of hypocrisy, ignorance, and not really dealing with it. So for me, that's where the issue comes into play. So I hope that answers the question. Again, we're talking about why your story matters, why it's important for you to really craft your story. And that's why when I take people through the personal brand journey, we actually go through a lot of discovery phase to really understand your values, your traits, your interests, your skills, and really understand what exactly your story is before we actually get out there. But even without all that work, you can still do a lot of work on crafting a story and telling your personal story about who you are, what you believe in, why you're here, what is your purpose, and just share that. And that doesn't take very long. It takes a short amount of time. It takes courage. And other people are saying some really great stuff too. Jenny says, totally agree. Being genuine is the best way to storytelling. Humans crave authenticity. I agree. Now, some humans fall for the manufactured stuff, but most humans crave authenticity. Every time I'm more authentic with the way I talk or when I share a post like this, it does better than the, okay, come here, join my, and okay, I didn't do anything there, but like, that whole kind of manufactured talking the way they're talking and trying to sell you something. And hey, like, I get selling. Like, I certainly have, I provide value. There's certain costs to some of the things that I'm offering, and I get that. But it's really all about trying to help people and just, like, if people want the help and want the support, no problem. I'm happy to help. If you want my support and coaching, DM me. If you want my support and my other stuff, check out my links below. If you want support just in general, like, start messaging and commenting on this post, and I might respond to different questions people have. If you have a question right now, I will answer. This is where, I provide value for free, and other places where I provide value for a cost. And so, for me, that's my business. I'm a professional speaker, and I'm a coach, and I have programs, right? I have a program on networking, I have a program on personal branding, I have a program on the 7-Day Confidence Program, I have a program on how to become a thought leader as a speaker, and that's part of your personal brand. And I have a speaker mastermind, so I do all that stuff. But I'm also providing content here because I want to engage people and learn from you, and also provide you value if I can, right? So, and every once in a while, I'll share a mini story that's part of my overall big story. And if you haven't seen my big story yet, it's one of my favorite videos. It's on my website, rayallen.com, where I share my story and why I'm here and what I'm trying to do. And I hope you take a look at that and let me know what you think of it. But yeah, that's really why, I think stories matter. It's a way for you to connect. It's a way for you to engage. It's a way for you to build community. But more specifically, I want you all to, take the time to work on your confidence, work on your speaking. Speaking and confidence are a huge part of thought leadership, right? If you want to build a thought leadership personal brand, you have to build a network and build connections and relationships. You have to build content and create awesome ideas. And you have to work on your speaking, and you have to work on your writing skills. So if you want to work on your speaker confidence, whether it's one-on-one or one-on-many or on video, check out the 7-Day Speaker Confidence Challenge. In that challenge, you'll get 7 emails, 7 videos, a bunch of worksheets and homework, and you'll also get a challenge to create a personal story video. And I will help you along the way, along with String, who's going to help you as well. So, and then going back to the comments, some people are saying there's, too transparent. Yeah, again, too transparent is all relative to the viewer, right? It's in the eyes of the beholder. You either see beauty or you see too much transparency. You either see empathy or you see something that, you project your own pain, your own agenda. So it's important for you to understand how that works, right? And we're all different. Every single one of us is different. Every single one wants to engage in a different way. I see there's a question. Okay, great. So question. Let's see. David says, okay, I got a question if you haven't already answered it. How do you determine which part of your story to run with, especially on LinkedIn? Great question. So how do you determine which story to run with? So there's different ways to go about this. One is if you look at your entire overall story of your life, there's going to be 1, 2, or 3 top lessons of your life that you want to share. There's also going to be the top 1 to 3, brands that you want to espouse. Like you want to, I could talk about my health journey. I could talk about my career journey. I could talk about my speaker journey. These are all different journeys that are part of my story. That's one of the reasons why it's so important to actually do personal branding work. Thank you, Lisa, for saying good advice. Appreciate that. That's why you want to do personal branding work, because doing that deep dive allows you to understand what are the most important stories of my life, what is my overall brand, who's my audience, who do I serve. And usually when I work with people on this, we'll come up with your top 5 to 10 personal brand elements. And from that, when you design, because the DYPB, Discovery Personal Brand phase is discover, then design, then deliver, right? So we discover your personal brand by doing deep dive. We then design it by working with people and coming up with the right brand and tools and resources and partnerships and voice for you. And then we deliver it by putting it out there. Now, how do you come up with the right one? Well, part of it depends on the audience you want to serve. So let's say you have this whole really interesting career journey and really interesting health journey. Now I have both, right? Now, which one is the main one I do? Well, I chose the career journey and talking about helping people transition, helping people to find their purpose, helping people find more meaning in their lives. That's the one I chose. I certainly could have gone a health angle and just focus on that and become like the guy who talks about health all the time, but I didn't want to do that. It became part of my 20%. 20%. 80% is the stuff that focuses on my why, which is helping lost, stuck, and unfulfilled leaders out there find more purpose, meaning, and impact. That's what I do. But 20% of my time is personal stuff. I talk about, hey, it was Eid of the day, or I'll talk about some of my kids, or I'll share Happy New Year, or I'll just, share something that I'm doing that's kind of fun, or talk about my health journey. These are things that I do. So, hopefully that answers the question. I mean, you have to find the right one that serves your audience best, David. So if we work together, one of the things we would do is I'd want to understand who are the different audiences you may serve, what's their pain point, and then based on your brand and your story, which is the right thing for you to actually put the right story out there. So now I'm super excited to know, David, all your different stories. So if you can DM me or join me on our little 7-day challenge, let's see what it is, because I'd love to help you put together the right story for yourself. And sometimes what you'll find is a lot of these stories they'll actually merge. So one of my favorite things to do from a personal brand perspective is integration. So my health journey and my career journey and even my life journey when it comes to my wife and my kids are all related, integrated, and aligned with my why. There are lost, stuck, unfulfilled leaders everywhere. Because when people feel lost, stuck, unfulfilled in any part of their life, that includes people in their careers, people in their businesses. It also includes my children. It includes me and my wife. It includes my health journey. Sometimes I feel lost there. Sometimes I feel stuck there. So it's a great umbrella brand that I use to serve the world. So hopefully, and David says it does. Thanks, Bobby. Great. I'm glad you enjoyed that. So that's really for me. And again, if anyone else has any more questions on why your story matters and helping you craft a personality story, let me know. David, keep going, man. You got a few stories. I love that. It's great. More questions. I love it. If you're just joining me again, I've been talking about why your story matters. I talked about your story being a way to build community, to share your values, share your beliefs, to let people know who you are, to do it in a very powerful way. Why your video story matters, because according they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. According to Forrester's research, a 1-minute video is worth 1.8 million words. So you imagine how many words you're saying by putting together a 3-minute video about your personal story. And if you want to do that and you want to join me, check out the link to the 7-day Speaker Confidence Challenge. It's a new program I've launched with String Nguyen from Australia. I'm super excited about that. That's part of our Master Your Voice program. It's going to be amazing, and you're going to get 7 emails, 7 videos, worksheets, homework to help you build your confidence. And I talked about this a little bit yesterday on my live stream, if you want to take a look at that. But the idea was, to work on confidence, because confidence also matters. Confidence matters in the workplace. Confidence matters in your business. Confidence matters when you're speaking. Confidence matters when you're networking. Confidence matters when you're speaking to people. Confidence even matters when you're dating and when you're parenting. Like, these are things where confidence matters. So working on confidence and speaking with more confidence. And again, I'm not talking about because going on stage, right? I mean, that's certainly one part of it, but getting confidence to just be who you are, to speak your truth, to share your thoughts, your ideas, to stand up and be counted. All those reasons are a reason for you to get out of your cubicle, to get out of your office, to get out of your basement and get out there and speak to people, network more, create video content. I'm here because I want to help people do that. And that's why it's so important for you to understand why your story matters. And if you haven't got it, go back to the beginning of this replay and read the whole thing. Again, if you like what you hear, you can heart, comment, like, you can share a post and things like that. You can tag people and let people know that they can be part of this conversation too. And that's why I'm here. At the same time, I want to stick around a little bit longer. If people have questions, if you have any questions about storytelling, why your story matters, how to craft a personal video story, comment below and I will answer it. Otherwise, we'll have to end and I'll say goodbye, because I'm here every day, usually 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday to Friday. It's been a little bit harder because of the kids being on summer vacation and things like that. But I'm still doing my daily post. You can see all my daily live streams on my feed. They're all there. I'm happy to help as many people as I can. All right. So if there are no more questions, then I may have to cut it out, or maybe I can segue to another topic that's related to what we're talking about. Well, I did briefly mention why story matters, and then in terms of how to craft your video. A big part of it is storyboard. So one of the things you want to do is storyboard your video in terms of what are the things you want to say in your video, and what's the overall message that you want to do. Break it down into different nuggets that then build up to the overall story. I'm a big believer in story arcing. Whenever I do a keynote or whenever I do any sort of longer form story, for me that works out really, really well. But that's pretty much what I do when it comes to crafting a video story. And even when I do like a live stream like this, or I do one of my 1 minute or 3 minute videos, there's always a story behind it. Like some stories are really short, some are 50 seconds long, other ones are like 10 minutes long. But the story has an objective, and usually there's a call to action, right? There's an objective, there's a lesson learned. You describe how you change, and then what is the call to action? And your best personal story video has to have a call to action. Whether you invite people to join you on your journey, or whether you invite people to take on this topic, or whether you invite people to do this or that, you have to think about what exactly is that call to action, right? If I were to do a story about my health journey, my call to action would be, it's always good to learn as much as you can, and be grateful for the support, and realize that every single person has a different journey, and every single person has their own struggles, and we should be empathetic to their cause and their needs and what they're going through. And I think that is so important for any sort of fitness or health journey. And when it comes to an entrepreneur journey, one of the things that we keep, or the career transition journey, is that most people, according to research, 80-something% of people are feeling unfulfilled or dispassionate with their jobs. And that's because they follow a path of success defined and designed by other people, right? Their parents, their society, corporations, whatever, their teachers. And so you have to find your own path of success. You have to define what success means to you. And so, that's why people are unfulfilled in their workplaces. And that's why I'm on a mission to be the Neo or the Morpheus that saves all the Neos out there, and save you from the Matrix to help you find that fulfillment that you want, right? So that's really, what I'm here to do with these daily posts, as well as my programs and all the things that I'm trying to do. And if you want more help or support in that, I'm here for you. The people in the comments are here for you. They can ask them questions. You can check out my links. I'm happy to help you as best I can. All right. So it looks to me like there's not any more questions. If there were, I would answer them, but I don't see any, or maybe I'm missing some, or maybe my phone is slow. Here's my phone. If it's slow, that's fine. But let me, I'm happy to answer any questions you have. This is where, when I'm here every day, you have my Ask Me Anything opportunity, right? And so this is why I do it, because it's easy for me to do that. And before my wife comes home and wants to do lunch, it's a good chance for me to chat with you guys. But that's okay. If people aren't joining in and they not want to ask questions, that's fine. By all means, if you see this replay later on, ask a question. I'll happily answer it. If you want more support, DM me or check the links in my post. You can see where I can give you support, and you can all share your stories. I mean, tell me below, what is your story? Tell me a bit about your story in terms of, what is your story? What have you been through? Why are you here on this platform? What exactly would you like people to know about you or remember about you? What do you want to build? What is your story? What is your purpose? What is your legacy? Let me know. I want to know what it is. And you share it below. And if we can turn that into a video, then let's work together and do this, because I think it's going to be amazing. If you've ever been part of the Master Video community, it's really amazing. And now the Master Voice community, they're really amazing with helping people find their story, find their authentic voice, build their speaker confidence through all the programs that String and Community is offering. So I think it's really awesome. I'm really proud to be a part of that. I'm proud to be a part of many of the different groups I'm part of. So this is just one that I think is really awesome. All right, so if you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, ask them later. Put them in the comments, tag people. Yeah, I thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you being here. It's been really great to engage you and share my stories, share my thoughts, and understand kind of where you are and what your story is as well. All right, so wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. 8:30 a.m. is the plan. Take care. Talk soon. And I will leave this running for about 10 seconds because often it gets cut off. So I'm going to leave it running for a little bit. If anyone has a last minute question and they put it in their comments, I will actually answer it, before we end. Okay, so.
That's it for this episode. If it gave you one useful idea, share it with someone who needs it, and follow the show so the next one finds you. I'll see you next time on The Power of Connection.